What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Well, apparently I'm feeling a little bit better today so far. As soon as I said that, I felt a little bit right here in the cough. But anyways, Pelican Bay, Pelican Bay, Pelican Bay. It seems like in this prison genre, or whenever there's discussion of prisons, especially prisons in California, it always circles back around to Pelican Bay, right? There's this whole mystique about it, this whole mythology about it. And, a lot of times people will ask me, hey, did you ever meet my uncle so-and-so? He was in the Bay. Did you ever meet my dad? He was in the Bay. Or my cousin, he was in the Bay. And the short answer is usually no, right? But let's talk about a few different things about Pelican Bay, how it was different. A lot of people think it was the most dangerous prison in California. I don't. And I was there. I think it may have been the most serious, but we can get into all that. So first of all, when people ask, did you know my uncle or my dad or whoever, whatever family member you had in the Bay, let's break it down like this. There are 4 facilities in Pelican Bay State Prison, okay? You have a facility. A facility is a general population yard. On a facility, unless things have changed, they have one fence down the middle of the yard, right? During yard time, they open that fence up. So all 8 blocks, well, I can't say that because usually there's overflow at SEGs over there. Whatever blocks are available to go to the yard, they can't interact with each other, intermingle, stuff like that, right? So you would have, if you were on a facility with somebody, then you probably would run into them if you're there during the same time. B facility. B facility is another general population yard. It was known more as like the gangster yard, right? They both were gangster, but it was known more of like, A facility had more opportunities, I guess you could say. And it was more wide open. Whereas B facility, you had 1 and 2 block on B facility. Those were EOP, okay, Enhanced Outpatient Program. No. I'm mistaken. PSU, Psychiatric Services Unit. That was the shoe for the EOPs, JCATs. It was basically a fucking psych ward, man. Them dudes get into something, they do something to somebody, they kill somebody, get off on a cop, do whatever. They get a shoe term, they went to PSU. That was 1 and 2 block on B facility. B facility has a fence in between every 2 buildings. So you have 1 and 2 building can't come out to the yard, period. That's a shoe for the crazy dudes, right? Then there's a fence. There's 3 and 4. They come out together. Then there's a fence. There's 5 and 6. There's a fence. 7 and 8. The fence between 5, 6, 7, and 8, they open so they can intermingle. If you were in 3 or 4 block and somebody else was in, 7 or 8 block, it would be harder for you to meet them because of the fences, but you still could at the fence. Everybody can meet. People go through. You stick your fingers through. That's your Pelican Bay version of a handshake through the fence. So in those 2 places, if somebody was there with you around the same time, then you may have met them. A facility would be easier. B facilities a little more restricted. Then let's go to C facility. C facility is the SHU, the Security Housing Unit. D facility is the same, Security Housing Unit, right? So the SHUs. Back in the days, you used to be able to sign up for law library, and you would go to the law library. They would fill that thing up, and you would be in there with guys from other buildings. You would hear business being conducted. It was different. Then after a certain individual checked in, he told the Juras, hey, he was devastated in what he did. He told the Juras, you need to shut down that law library. That's the main source of communication and interaction. So they did that. My understanding is he's also the reason why they shut down the I'd say group yards and put the dog runs, which was that right there was A hell of a move, man, by the CDC. But yeah, so once they changed up the law library, they made it to where initially you only went with your building, right? But dudes from other pods. Then they realized, well, shit, they can still communicate a lot easier, even though they're in the same building. It's restricted in the shoe, right? So then they started making it to where when you signed up, you probably went only with the dudes in your pod, which is an 8-man pod. Usually there's not Sally's in there. Sometimes there was. Or you may go with a couple of dudes from the pod next to you. Well, you can talk to those guys every time you go out to the yard. The yard in the shoe. Look at my thumbnail. That's the yard. Ain't no grass. Ain't no sunshine. There's plexiglass. There's wire. There's like a wire mesh, or I don't know. It's not wire. It's steel mesh above the top along the top of the yard, and plexiglass over that. And there's a cutout where the camera's at. And you could see by the dampness on the walls, that's how it is in there, man. It's very cold, very dark, moist. That's why a lot of people up there have ear infections all the time, because you have to wear earbuds, and then all the moisture in the air, it's not good. So that's how, when people ask me, did you meet so-and-so? Now you see, you have a facility where you have a better opportunity to interact with people. And then from that point on, it gets more restricted, right? And it's harder to meet somebody unless they're in your pod. Then you would know them. If they're in your building, in the shoe, they could be in your building with you for years. You don't know what they look like. You know what they sound like, but you don't even know what they look like unless you catch a chain with them to medical or the law library, right? Now, the whole Mystique, Pelican Bay, the worst of the worst, and the end of the line, and all that shit they used to say, right? People need to understand, when they were saying that, they meant the shoe. All the heads, all the made men, they were all in the shoe. They were not on B or A facility. They were in C and D. But see, that's the thing that people didn't know. They thought, everybody's there with everybody know. But I will say this. When I say that, to me, Pelican Bay, the main lines right there were more serious. Again, I don't think they were more dangerous. Every fucking yard, if you're on a level 4 180, you're in a very dangerous area, right? But the reason why I say it was more serious is this. A level 4 180, those are known as shoe kickout yards. When you come out of the shoe, those are the yards you go to. You got to give them 3 years there with no write-ups. If you can do that, then you can go to a level 4 270. You're still on a level 4, still in a dangerous spot, right? But, so all the level 4 180s are shoe kickout yards. I would say every one of the 180s besides Pelican Bay, I would say was probably 60% of the population, especially Raza, right, would be shoe kickouts. Matter of fact, I can only speak to that. Would be the Raza, it would be probably about 60% shoe kickouts. The rest, you got guys coming in from other joints. You had guys coming in from the reception center, right? Pelican Bay, my best guesstimate would be in Pelican Bay, the shoe kickout rate would be probably 80 to 85%. And for some reason, it seemed like mostly everybody that got kicked out of the shoe in the Bay to A or B facility, they were definitely connected. They had the power of the pin. They had somebody's ear. They had backing. Whereas these other level 4 180s, while they had maybe a 60% rate of shoe kickouts, there was a lot of Corcoran and Tehachapi. Once Tehachapi became a shoe, there was a lot of Corcoran and Tehachapi mixed in. They didn't always have access to the legends. Whereas in the Bay, you definitely do. You're sitting there right with them. You're getting laced up by them. They know you're going to be going back out there. So they're utilizing you, right? And so because of that, when you went out to that yard, you knew You did not want the spotlight on you. You knew to be on your P's and Q's. Pelican Bay, I think while I was there, I can say that they have less stickings on that yard than anywhere else. And you want to know why? My opinion. There's less dope. I've told you guys before, the majority of the fucking pegadas, it's not over bad paperwork or anything like that. It's because vatos can't fucking maintain their drug habit and they get whacked. So Pelican Bay, there was dope there. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't dry. There was way less dope than other yards. But when there was dope there, even the biggest dope fiend was hesitant to really get his party on there. You knew, there's dudes that slang dope and it was their dope. And then there's dudes that sling dope and it's hot dope. By hot dope, that money right there is going to somebody, it's going to one of the legends, right? And that's what you had in Pelican Bay. You didn't have dudes just, hey, I came up on something. Nah. It was all hot dope. So, I've mentioned before, one of my homeboys, that he was a pig, and he had a cold fucking drug habit. And we had got out of the shoe in 97, around the same time we're in B facility. And he was doing pull-up. He was OG, been doing it since the 70s, right? He's doing pull-ups. He's busting down on the yard, the whole yard. And I was like, you ain't chasing it no more? He was like, not here. Like I said, he'd been doing it since the 70s. He said, not here. I won't even get high here. I wouldn't get high if they gave it to me for free. Why? Why is that? Because that's when you get the taste and start chasing it. So you had that. And I will tell you that me having been transferred from Pelican Bay to other prisons, there's a huge stigma back then. Now it's different. Everything's different now. But there was a huge stigma. We always came out. We look like, you don't get any sun in the shoe, in the Bay. So your skin is kind of like translucent. It's weird, man. Like it's an ugly, like greenish pale color. Like you can see people's veins. It's weird, man. And we all get fucked up eyes. And we have to wear these glasses, like the Buddy Holly glasses. So when dudes come from Pelican Bay to other joints, they stood out. And they made some people shake a little bit in their boots because they would land on yards. And if the guys in charge of the yard they landed on weren't up to par, and they know what the fuck they're supposed to be doing, and they're being laxed in what they're doing. They know when one of these dudes comes, pale ass vato with the Buddy Holly glasses, they're like, oh, fuck. Because they know what that means. He's connected. He knows what time it is. He's there to conduct his business. His business is hot. And anything that's not in line, the Bay is going to find out about it. Again, I don't think Pelican Bay was ever the most dangerous. I think it was the most serious. I have talked about how Pelican Bay changed up the game as far as when hits went down on yards, because there was a time where they would hit dudes and then try to get away with it. You know what I mean? Like you'd hit them, boom, boom. When you hit them good, and then if you could sneak off, right? Well, once Pelican Bay was built, they have the whole entire yard is on camera. Anytime the yard goes out, they're on camera. So once they realized, like, I can't get away with it, then they were taking you to the dirt, staying on you, and there was, dudes getting smoked. And they would go to the shoe, get out of the shoe, go to another joint, and that's what you do on every yard now. And so it changed how dudes weren't trying to get away no more. Dudes were like, they're going to pick up the case anyways, But anyways, how much? Damn, 10, what is it? Oh, that's 14 minutes, you guys. I know you guys are tired of me already. So that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Another thing real quick. Let me dispel some more shit real quick. Those of you that are not from California, understand this. San Quentin and Old Folsom stopped being maximum security prisons in 1993. By 1994, at the latest, they had no more level 4s on their yards. Those are lower level prisons. So I laugh when I hear on TV or when I see on social media, oh yeah, San Quentin this and Folsom, old Folsom that, and I'm like, huh? So, but I know that, like, okay, they're talking about movies and shit from the '80s, and that them two places were vicious, man. But because of the blind spots, once they created the 180s, they started moving everybody out of them old dungeons and onto the level 4 180s. Well, anyways, with that said, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm headed to do an interview today. By the way, before I go, I should be heading out in the next hour or so. I did a video on my other channel, on the Dub S channel. Those of you that aren't subscribed, do me a favor and subscribe, DUBESS. And I talked about how Raza basically handcuffed themselves when it comes to the music industry right here on YouTube, and how the powers that be are afraid of the Raza because of what they identify themselves as, right? And when I did that, there was a Hollywood producer that reached out to me and said, hey, it's the same in Hollywood, man. People are scared to death. So I'm going to follow up the video that I did on the small channel. I'm going to follow that up on this channel with the Hollywood producer. And hopefully it's entertaining for you guys, man. But it's going to be the truth. So with that said, I'm out.